In this video, I'm going to be breaking down and letting you guys know 5 really important things you need to know about ChatGPT. My name is Reece and I've been building small businesses since I was 14. I'm 19 years old now, and I've been doing a complete dive into AI these past few years. And these are things that I've been able to apply to my day-to-day life that's really helped me get more done with less work, which is really important. All right, so first things first, getting started, what we're going to actually do is we're going to go down here to the bottom left corner. We're going to click on this and we're going to click settings. When you navigate to your settings, what we're basically going to do here is tell ChatGPT more about you. So it might be looking a little bit different on mobile, but I'm pretty sure you can still follow along. From there, what we're going to do is we're actually going to come over here to personalization. From here, you're going to see a couple things. You're going to see enable customization. If this is disabled, make sure to enable it, because again, we're going to basically be customizing ChatGPT, so it's going to kind of act the way we want it to, so it's better for me. Right now, the first thing we're going to look at is ChatGPT personality. So there's a few different ones on here. Mine's set to robot. There's default, Cintiq, robot, listener, and nerd. For me, I like robot because I like it to be efficient and blunt. I don't like it to just talk and yip yap and all that. I like to be told what the answer is and how to do it and how to get it done. So I've set mine to robot. You can choose whatever. Obviously, by default, it's at the default, but you can change this right here. Number 2 is custom instructions. You can actually tell ChatGPT to act a certain way. If you want ChatGPT to act more like an older person, like maybe a mentor, you can tell it that. If you want it to act more like a Gen Z, you can tell it that. If you want it to be more encouraging, you can tell it that. That's what we're going to do here. And there's just kind of like behavioral changes, right? If you keep scrolling down, you're going to see different things. You're going to see nickname. What do you want ChatGPT to call you? But it also uses it for other things. So for example, if you're like, hey, ChatGPT, write a book, it's going to put the author as this name. So if my name is Reece, it's going to put the author as Reece, but it just does it for everything. So make sure you put your nickname here, something you don't mind it being. Obviously, I put Reece because that's my name. Occupation, I'm a developer. Obviously, you can put literally whatever. You can put entrepreneur, you can put business owner, you can put literally whatever you want there. It's just going to use that for context. Moving on, we got more about you. So this is where you kind of just tell ChatGPT everything you can. The more you can think of, honestly, the better. I honestly need to redo this on my free time, but for right now, I like to be told honest and brutal advice to help navigate me to the absolute best decisions. It's very simple, it's very clean. So what it's going to do is before it answers anything, I mean, I could say what's 2 plus 2. It's going to make sure it understands that I like to be honest and brutal advice. And I like to do that because sometimes ChatGPT just kind of likes to agree too much, in my opinion. I like it to be like, I want it to argue back with me kind of thing, so I can actually make the best decisions possible. Where ChatGPT, in my opinion, by default comes out of the box always agreeing. Like I could be like, I'm going to shut down a $30 million business. Yeah, it's a great idea. You should do that, is what it would tell me. So that's why I've kind of changed it to try to navigate away from that. The next thing we have is memory. So basically what memory does is it just gives ChatGPT memory. I feel like I don't really got to go too depth in that. I mean, it just lets ChatGPT remember things. Enable this if you can. I'm not sure if this is only a premium feature. I do have a premium feature. It's just $25 a month. I don't have the pro, but I do have the premium one. And I'm pretty sure it does it for free. If it can enable it, it's super useful. And then the rest is just more advanced stuff that we're not going to get into. So that's the first tip I can give, is to go in here and set these, because it's very important to actually do, because like I said, the rest of it doesn't really matter if ChatGPT is just not really someone you want to talk to. Okay, so another important thing to know before we continue, the way AI works, I want to kind of break this down more because it's very important to know moving forward. AI works out of context. If you can give it more context, it can give you better answers. If you give it less context, it gives you worse answers. It's very simple. It comes down to context. So the way that all of these AI agents basically work is context. The good thing with these AI models is they actually just have the biggest context in the world, right? The internet. So if you ask something and they don't have context to it, or they don't know, they will just go look for it on the internet. So it already has a huge pool of context. But if you can give it specialized context that you actually like, that you like to follow, it'll be even better. Let me explain. For example, if you're somebody that's into business and you want to try and get more lead generation, you like the guy Alex Hormozy, you can tell it to, hey, act like Alex Hormozy, and it's going to use things from him instead of using things from, let's say, Elon Musk or anyone in between. It's going to use things from him to allow it to answer it as if it was him. So context in AI is the most important thing. It can help guide your answers. So just remember, if it ever gets stuck, give it more context. The more context, the better. The better prompts, the better. It all comes down to prompts and context for anything AI related. The second thing that I want to go over is going to be projects. Projects for me is something I use on a day-to-day. So projects, if you come over here and click this, what this is going to allow you to do is basically have one set space for your projects. So for example, if you're somebody that is a school teacher, or if you're somebody that runs a business, or you're somebody that does any of these things, coming in here and making a project is really great. So for example, let's say I'm a 3rd grade teacher. So I'm going to come in here and make a new project and call it teaching. Then I'm just going to hit create project. So now in here, what it's going to do is, number 1, it's going to have its own section for chats. So I can always come to this project over here on testing, and I'm going to always be able to see all of the chats for this very specific project. That means if I go and hit new chat and I start talking to it, it's not going to save under teaching. Teaching projects only save the chats under that. So it's very useful. So if you need to go back and use, later chats from a week ago, they're very easy to find because they don't get lost in the rest of the chats. Another reason this is very important is if you actually hit add files, what this allows you to do is actually add context to it. This is very important. Why do you want to add context, you might ask? Well, well. For example, if you have a teaching guide that you need to make sure that all of this is taught between the school years up, right, and it's sent to you during a PDF, you could upload that here, right? You can literally upload whatever. So let's say you wanted to go find a resource online. You go take that resource and you download it as a PDF, and you can add it into here. And again, everything with AI is context, right? So the more context you give it here by uploading files, by doing those kind of things, the better off it's going to be to actually deliver to you, right? So it's very important and it's very useful. And let me walk you through what I recommend to do when you first get started. So what I recommend you do is first come on here and be like, and just introduce yourself. Say, my name is Reece. And then you can literally just go by whatever. I just say, I go by Mr. Hardin, right? Whatever. Then what you're going to want to do is just then explain what you want to do, right? Introduce yourself. Then, and then again, this is just start. We're going to introduce yourself, and then we're just going to say you are, and then we're going to make sure it's specified that it should be on the third grade level, right? So doing this, and again, I know I didn't spell everything correctly, but that literally just doesn't matter. All we're going to do from here, and this is the very important thing, what we're going to do is we're going to just go down and we're going to say, ask me 5 important questions so I can give you the best context possible. Then make a PDF explaining what your task is. So what we're doing there is we're going to basically say, hey, what do you need to know about me to make the best absolute PDF? Now, it's important to know the more questions, the better. If you say, ask me 10, that's better. If you say, ask me 20, that's better. Or you can even say, in my opinion, ask me however many questions is needed to create the best possible context, right? Or whatever. It's all about prompts, right? You got to learn how to prompt it. I'm only doing 5 for the example of this video because I don't want to sit here answering questions for the next hour. But again, the more questions they ask you, the better, because the better context that it can give you, so the better guidance it'll give you when you actually ask it questions. And this is only a one-time setup. You do this one time and you're good to go from there. Understood. As you guys see, it talks like a robot. Understood. Like it's very short and very brief, but that's because of my, the context I gave it earlier, the personality I told ChatGPT to act as. So remember that, right? So number 1 is what subjects do you teach daily? Math, reading, writing, whatever. So we're going to do number 1 is math. So the questions it asked me is, number 1 is, what do you teach? Well, I teach math. How long is your class? It's an hour. Do you follow any kind of curriculum? Well, I follow whatever this is. I don't even know what that is. I'm just going to say I follow that. Obviously, for a teacher, they would know what that is. Number 4 is, what teaching style do you prefer? Do you prefer more games, worksheets, whatever? I just put worksheets. And then, do you want me to create a fully daily lesson plans, objectives, materials, steps, assessments, or short standalone lessons? I just said assessments and objectives. Obviously, I misspelled it. It doesn't even matter. From there, I'm just going to hit enter and watch this. This is literally magic. So again, I fed it all the context it needs. Now we're just going to let it cook up, right? So acknowledged. Based on your answers, I'll generate daily math lessons for 3rd grade aligned with the Kentucky core academic standards, designed 1-hour sessions centered on worksheets and including objectives and assessments. All right, so now it's going to ask us, do you want me to generate the PDF? We're going to say yes, please do. I'm just going to say yes. I'm not putting please do, but I'm just going to put yes. So here we go. Now it's going to say your PDF is ready to download it. All you have to do is click on this. So as you see, so now if you actually open what we just downloaded, you're going to literally be able to see all the different lesson structures, sample lessons, and so on. So what we're going to do is we're going to save that to our computer. So then now, anytime we create a chat, you could upload it and give it context if you're creating a new chat, but because we created a project, all we have to do is go back out here to the teaching project page, hit add files, hit add file, and then we're just going to upload what it just created for us. So as you see, we're literally uploading the PDF it made for us. So now anytime we ask questions, it'll use that to answer our questions, to help guide us better or whatever. So it's very easy, and instead of having to go in every single time and say, I'm a 3rd grade teacher, this is what I need you to make, you just go on there and say, make me this. And it's going to already have all the context it needs to make you that. Again, this is a one-time setup, so I really recommend you spend literally an hour or so just detailing out every little thing, because AI will always use it. And again, it's all about context and prompting, right? So if you just take the time and do better, kind of a better master prompt at this, then it's going to allow the rest of your assessments and the rest of the things ChatGPT makes for you to be 10 times better. Okay, so number 3 is going to be teaching us how to prompt. There is a very easy guide that I like to follow whenever I'm trying to do something. We're going to assign it a role, tell it what we want it to do, and tell us how we want it to be delivered. Let me show you an example. So for example, I just wanted to answer a simple math question of 2 + 2. Very simple, very easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, act as a math teacher that is at Harvard, right? If you're somebody that wants finance advice or business advice, maybe you say act as if you were Elon Musk or whatever, right? You can just tell it to act as something, because then it's going to pull all relevant information from the internet to better answer your question. So that's number 1. Step number 2 is tell it what you want it to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to answer what is 2 + 2 and as many examples as it possibly can think of. Then step number 3 is, how do you want it? Do you want that in a file like a PDF we just did earlier? Do you want it to be bulleted? Do you want it to be a big paragraph? Tell it how you want it. Personally, I don't like to read much, so I just want it in a very simplified bulleted list. So I'm going to tell it that. So I'm just going to say send it in a simplified bulleted list and hit enter. And boom, right here, right? You have plenty of different ways of how 2 + 2 = 4. The most basic answer, binary, Romanesque, and like literally everything you want it to be. So again, all we did was Act as a math teacher, give it a role, tell it what you want it to do, and then tell it how you want it to be given. So for example, if I would have said, okay, now give it in a long paragraph. In mathematics, blah, 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 and now it's giving me the exact same thing in a long paragraph. So it kind of depends on you. If you're somebody who likes to sit down and read a whole paragraph, tell it to give a paragraph. If you're like someone like me, I don't like to sit there and read that long, tell it to give a very simplified bulleted list. Moving on to number 4 is we're going to be introducing voice mode. This is something that's very simple to do, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's very unique that a lot of people just aren't utilizing, and it's honestly the biggest caveat. So in ChatGPT, what you can actually do is come in here and you can actually see this right down here where it says use voice mode. So when you click on this, you can actually talk to ChatGPT if it was a real human being, and it's fully contextual, right? So you can just tell it whatever, it'll literally do research. You can hear it typing on a keyboard, then it'll answer back to you. I literally use this thing constantly. If I'm taking a drive or I'm going down the road and I want to know something, right, I will get on this and I'll ask ChatGPT and talk to it as if it was a human being. So it's gonna kind of be the same thing. You're gonna talk to it, say, hey, this is what I want you to act like. I want you to answer this question, and then it's just a lot easier. Example, act as if you were an accountant at a taxing agency, something like that, CPA. Then I'm gonna ask it a tax question. How could I write off dinner tonight? Very simple, very easy. It's kind of like the prompting in the past one, but we don't need to tell how it's going to give it because it's going to speak it to us. Then it's going to tell us, well, if you want to write off dinner, do this, this, and this. And then if you have a question, ask it. It's super simple. Let me just show a quick example because I don't want to go too over this because it's kind of self-explanatory, but please use this. So let me show you. Use voice mode. Hey, ChatGPT, I just have a quick question for you. If I, as a business owner, wanted to write off a business dinner on taxes, how can I do that?
You can deduct 50% of a business dinner if it's ordinary, necessary, not lavish, you or an employee are present, and it relates to your business. Keep records of the purpose, attendees, and receipts. From 2026, meals provided by employers won't be deductible.
Now, can I only do that if I own like an actual business, or let's say I'm a sole proprietor? Can that still work?
Yes, you can still deduct it as a sole proprietor. The same rules apply as long as the meal is for business.
So yeah, voice mode, very, very simple to go over. Like I said, it's not really too much to it. You just talk to it as if it was a real human being. It's just something that a lot of people aren't using, and it can save you a lot of time. Like the amount of time it takes you to talk, the amount of time it takes you to text, then read back what it says, you could accomplish 30 times more if you're just talking with it. So make sure you use that, and especially if you really get stuck, it's really, really helpful. Okay, moving on to tip number 5. This is going to be canvas mode. Now what canvas mode is basically where ChatGPT will open 2 editors essentially, to where it's going to have what it's working on and then the context window. So for example, what we're going to do is we're going to say, write me a short essay about why dogs are. So all I'm going to say is write me a short essay about why dogs are the best pet. Write it in canvas mode. Now, if you remember our prompting earlier, if I was doing this officially, I'd want to make sure I specify you are a English teacher at a Harvard or something, right? Write an essay, blah, 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 blah. You would want to specify, you want to give it a role. I'm not giving it a role right now because it's an example, but I'm just saying this is real. Follow our prompting guide, right? So then we're just going to hit enter. And the trick is that we put write in canvas mode. If you don't write in canvas mode, it's going to give you a normal chat window. If you write in canvas mode, you're going to see this little canvas here. So all you have to do is you can see copy, edit, download. Typically you don't have these options. So if, like, let's say you wanted to download this and share it, you can just hit download and it'll download it straight to your device. Or you can hit copy and paste it directly to somewhere else. Or my favorite part, right, is you can come on here and you can literally just hit edit and then boom, right? You're going to have on the left side your chat window, on the right side what you're working on. So let's say you're reading this, you're like, okay, well, I don't want M dashes, right? M dashes looks too much like AI. What I can actually do is highlight this. Then you can just literally do ask ChatGPT, please remove this M dash. It's going to come over here. It's going to edit it for you. Boom, remove the M dash, right? And then you can just do that an entire thing. All right, well, let's say servicing dogs, for example, help blind, blah, 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 blah. I don't really like that example. Let me highlight that and do ask, give a different example. This example has been replaced with therapy dogs. Now it says therapy dogs, for example, visit hospitals, blah, blah, blah. So it's very, very powerful. It's very, very useful. Make sure you're using, Canvas. So instead of having to constantly copy paste, or, keep going back and forth with it, you can literally just get a perfect what you like. Now, here's the trick. What you do after this, once you get something like this that you like, you're going to go back into ChatGPT. You're going to say, what could I have prompted? So this is the trick that I want you to try and practice a few times. You don't have to do this every time. This is just the first few times because you're going to learn how to prompt better. Is you're just going to ask, what could I have prompted in the beginning to get this answer faster? And we're just going to hit send. I literally wrote a comment on here. It's literally like canvas mode's great, right? So if you actually come over here and look at the comment it wrote, it says, to get this answer faster, you could have prompted, write a short essay about 3 paragraphs explaining why dogs are the best pets, formatted for canvas mode. That would tell me to create the document directly without extra clarification steps. You're just going to keep doing that. And the more you message ChatGPT, the more you're going to understand that. So the next time you're going to be able to get prompts faster and faster and faster. Obviously, the more you would have changed the actual prompt, the better off that prompt would have just given me. I literally changed 2 very small things, so it's not going to be able to tell me very much. But if I would have removed a lot of M dashes, or I would have added more jokes in there or something like that, then it would have told me to make sure when I write my prompt to add more jokes. So the point is with ChatGPT, the main things you got to take away from this video is going to be context, prompting, and that's about all. If you can just accomplish those two things, you'll be able to achieve a lot more with AI than your average Joe, right? So just practice those things over and over, take notes through this video, and if you need to, go back and everything like that. Also, make sure you guys join my Discord, where I'm going to be having free kind of like courses and outlines and guides and PDFs that you can come on there and actually see how you guys can learn AI and different tools with it as well, because this is just the first episode in many. So if you guys did enjoy this video, like I said, please subscribe and like, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your guys' day. Peace out.